Rodder. Welcome back to Devils United. We've got a calling show for the build-up for Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest, the second leg of the Carabao Cup. Plenty to touch on. Got some great guests coming in and out of the stream today. We will bring some people in. First of all, I'll quickly go through the lineup and then we will go from there. Good evening, Brush. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening to you, Ravi, as well. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening, Ashley. Ashley's backstage as well, so he'll be one of the first to come on. Good evening. I've already said good evening to you, Ravi, as well. I said it already. And good evening, Reese. Thank you for coming in. So I'll quickly run through the lineup just before we do get Ashley on. We've got Tom Heaton in goal, Luke Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka in the back four. We've got Casemiro, Fred and Bruno in the middle. Up front, we've got Garnacho, Antony and Weghorst up front. And then we have got a bench of Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Pellistri, Kobe Mano, Harry Maguire, Malacia, Lindelof and David De Gea. So yet again, a very strong lineup. A couple of changes with Garnacho starting, Tom Heaton starting as well. And you can see another strong lineup from Nottingham Forest. Hennessy, Williams, McKenna, Boller, Lodder, Lingard, Mangala, Ferula, Scarpa, Sturridge, and Brennan Johnson. All to touch on for today. As well as that, we have had a new signing coming in January. He isn't making his debut today, so we may potentially see him maybe at the weekend when we do play against Crystal Palace. But we will bring the first guest in now, which is Ashley. Here we go. Hey there, Ashley. How are you doing?
Good evening to everybody. I'm doing fine. Fine too. I'm not as young as you, Maisy. I'm getting older this year, and you're getting younger. So
I wish I was getting younger.
we all do. We all do. The thing for me, I want to say is that we didn't expect in half to be so good. This is this is call it for what it is. I think that um, what he has a system that has come in has worked for us. Uh, Rashford is on fire. Garnacho has been on fire. I think actually the whole team has actually been on fire. I mean, Wan-Bissaka has really kicked Galo out of the team. I think the one concern that you have is that Ilanga hasn't um, hit his stride. Anthony is left, left, left. He doesn't do that the whole time. I don't understand why he does it. So I think on the other hand as well is that the this Hogus, what was him? High Ghost, no? I think his name is. Uh, for me, if you're not hitting the ball up to him so he can hit the ball, then what's the use we having him in the team? But I see he holds the ball up nicely, so I give him that. Then I think we played really well so far, and I think we're gonna press this team aside like we always do. And being Newcastle, but I heard I saw Moraes pick up a record yesterday, but I heard he can play. So I think we played really well. What do you think about how the team so far?
I think the team's been absolutely brilliant. I think for me, they have definitely been very unpredictable. Just because of all the recent years of Manchester United, I think we knew for Ten Hag it was going to be a transition year. It was just a matter of how much he was going to be invested in, what areas he's going to be. We always knew defensively it wasn't going to be the best, but we had signings such as Casemiro, who's made a massive difference, Lisiandro, Ericsson, who's unfortunately injured. But I think this team's been superb. And looking at this team for you today, Ashley, is what do you make of this starting 11? Because really, there isn't too much rotation.
I want to start off to Luca because I know his team is in the top of the league at the moment. So big up team to Static and to my man Reese. One thing I will say is that uh, Varane has been solid for us. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. Varane has been amazing for us this season. So um, I think at the same time as well, the Canucks has been on fire for us as well. I think the whole team, obviously Ericsson being out, um, it's also being a blow for us, but I think we have enough. That we don't. It's enough for Nottingham Forest. It's not going to blow us out of the water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the maybe, but I think that just play our game that we normally play and just no for the water. If we score one goal, game is score. We're not going to score four bars. And I think, but I think one issue I might just have is maybe Heaton because I saw Heaton last game and I thought even even that new smoker there, what's his name, the Bresca, didn't work out because he was 14 in that one game or so.
Mm-hmm.
As a track pass, I always rated John Jack Butland. I think he's a goalkeeper. So I don't know why he's so far down, but I think if we can keep on, you know, I think our team is solid, man. I mean, Bruno's on fire. I wanted to ask you, you, how did you feel about that team when Ronaldo was in the team? How did you feel Ronaldo part of our team?
What did you say, sorry?
I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about Ronaldo when he was in the team? And how do you see that? How does the team look to you now without him in the team?
Ah, with Ronaldo.
Yeah,
I think for me that how can I say when there's a toxic figure in the club, and no matter how brilliant they are, there's always going to be a part what's not going to work. And I think for me, as much as Ronaldo was so good last year, nobody else was. We can't solely blame that on Cristiano Ronaldo. Just because a lot of there was a lot of disruption with the management, the coaching staff as well, and I think that um, this year, especially knowing the way that Ten Hag has looked at it and seen that the way Cristiano plays, you've got to build a team around him. And realistically, long term, you can't build a team around a 38-year-old if you are going to want success and if you are going to want a long term future at Manchester United. And I think for me, Ten Hag done the right thing by dropping him, and I do believe that Ten Hag done the right thing by letting him go.
yeah.
He
I
clearly
mean,
shown when he moved from after that Tottenham game, he didn't respect the club whatsoever.
now what I mean, what I'm saying is, what I'm asking you. So I understand that you is toxic. I agree with you.
Mm.
Okay. So how do you think of the team plays now? Because Bruno looks like he's alive.
Okay, yeah, I think everyone's improved. Bruno, Rashford has been on fire all season. I just think that the way we play now is that we actually play like a team. Whereas we're not playing like 11 individuals on the
Do you know what
pitch.
Bruno said
What
after the
about you?
game? Did you hear what Bruno said in the interview? He said, "We're not making it." He said, "What we're not facing it about individuals." I was like, "Yo, that is a massive statement." He said that. I'm like, "Oh, that's about Ronaldo," because he said we didn't base it around the individual. I'm like, and look, I'll be honest. I'll be serious. I think we are playing good, but I think next year will be amazing. I mean, Arsenal fans are still crying about the fact that we're the only team that won't beat them. Luca can testify to that if he comes on here. Uh,
Mm-hmm,
we beat Liverpool, and Liverpool. Chelsea put 8 signings and they can only register three. They got three puzzles this thing on graphic on Sky, and like they have three different players in three different positions. I think the one thing that I like about our team is that we have a team.
mm-hmm,
Because I've seen guys with a squad, they only have squads. But if you look at Liverpool, they won the league. If you look at City, they have a team. It's not about based on a squad. You know, like we play a team with like 50 players in the team.
mm-hmm.
You understand? So when Moran came in, when Martinez came, people mocked Martinez when he came in
Because of his height.
because of his height, and then
Mm,
he slicks. There was Haaland. Did you see the Haaland? They were just saying Haaland can do this. Haaland. But
mm,
Ali was in Luke Shaw's back pocket holding when he played in the other one.
mm-hmm,
So nobody was talking about Martinez, and Shaw isn't a big guy either. You understand?
mm-hmm,
So I think that looking where they're going, the progression of our team, you watch, if you watch AFTV and you watch these, the R Sport media with Abby and those guys, then you see them talking about Man United, then they
mm-hmm,
like, this is not the same side. And that
mm-hmm,
shows me that they know, because I know how they were feeling. I mean, because we're gonna. I think our toughest game coming up next will be Newcastle. That'll be the toughest game we'll play because we're gonna do it to Liverpool. We're gonna do it to Chelsea. I think Fulham will also be a tough game for us. Brighton will also be a game. And I think maybe Brentford. But I think the others we're just gonna blow them out of the water. So
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably say Newcastle will probably be our toughest games. I can see a draw or a win at Anfield, if you want me to be honest. Sorry, Rabbi.
Can I ask you when the season starts? When the season starts, what do you like? What's your expectation of Manchester United?
What did I think of what, sorry?
What is your expectations over the
So, what
season?
I predicted us to finish fifth and for us
Okay,
to win the Europa League. That's what I had predicted.
and
I
now
thought if that was the case, I would have been happy because we
and
haven't won
now
a trophy since 2017. But now, I expect to. Based off how we're playing, I don't want to be out of the top four. Because even though being out of the top four and finish fifth is it's not a failure for a first season, but with the way we're playing, we're a top four side. We deserve to be in that top four,
I
and we
think
deserve to be in the Champions League.
I think we will beat Barcelona back to back. I think we will win the Carabao Cup, and I think nobody has been playing better soccer than us than Arsenal and Man City. I
Mhm.
don't think because Liverpool sold the wrong player. That's number one.
Mhm.
And I think as well is that I think what I liked about Tenafi, she put the discipline back. When I was watching the Ferguson video of Class of '92, and Colin Stacking was saying they were partying all day, and then when Fergie came in, he just nailed it out. So I think we
Mhm.
really, I think to be fair, we are playing really well, man. That's the thing. We are playing really well, and I think
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And we'll get the next guest on. Thank you, Ashley, for coming on. Would you like to shout out your socials?
my name is I changed my Twitter name. Just tell you quickly. My Instagram name is Claude Roberts 316. I'll give you my Twitter handle quickly. Because I changed it, man. I changed it. So
Oh, you've changed it recently. I'll see if I can find it for you.
it's
Because then,
actually
yeah,
that line at the bottom, MUFC 316.
perfect. Everyone go and give Ashley a follow on Twitter and Instagram. What's your score prediction for tonight, Ashley?
I did it on the app 3-0, so I think we're gonna win the game. I don't think they have anything for us. I promise you. I you know what? You see, this is what I wanted to say to you as well. I put 20 players into that team.
Mhm.
Because you see what I'm trying to say is that the difference between a team and a squad. We
Mhm.
are playing like a team.
Mhm.
Those guys are just a squad.
They're
They're
not
not numbers.
gelled.
Just because they've got like if I'm telling you, if you ask someone, I'm telling you, they've got three different players in three positions in the soccer team. The way they're gonna play all those guys, because Kante isn't on there. They didn't pay 108 million for Enzo. So you can actually be in the Champions League team. Somebody in that team is gonna be falling out. Falling out. It's probably like 5 or 6 guys are gonna be not playing, and they can only rate this and they sign 8 players for over
Mhm.
230 million or something like that. But
Mhm.
enjoy the game, guys, because my energy company is about to knock the lights out by us in South Africa. So enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm gonna stream the game. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the
Yeah,
game.
well, thank you so much, Ashley, and take care. Have a nice night. Enjoy the game, and
You too.
let's get to the final of the Carabao Cup. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So that was great from Ashley. Great to see Ashley as always. A few more people entered the chat before we get the next person on. Good evening, Luca. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Hey there, Static. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. And hey there, Chris. Please beat Notts Forest for us. Well, we're basically the owners of Nottingham Forest right now, so I'm sure that we will probably beat them. Anyone who wants to come in, all fans welcome to so we can discuss the game ahead at 8 o'clock. And we have got Reese. Reese, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you've seen the lineup. What have you made of the lineup? Because there has been a bit of rotation, but I'm sure people probably expected a bit more rotation.
I think the lineup's fairly reasonable in my opinion. I think too much change would disrupt rhythm in the squad. I think it's not a bad thing to make changes, but I think if we made so many tonight, we would generally have. I'm not going to say overly give a chance to Nottingham Forest, but there would be some sounds of hope for them, because they have, like, obviously in the last game, like I tweeted out as well after we won. Excuse the language. Actually, no, I can think of a different reason. I can think of something else. I tweeted after the game that we were absolutely appalling, even though we won 3-0. Like, I thought we were not even the second best team on the pitch because we were genuinely very poor, like from back to front. But the good thing for us is that Nottingham Forest couldn't get past De Gea and our defence was superb, and then we scored some valuable goals. But I like the lineup, I like the selection, and it's good to see Tom Heaton, for example, start. I think he deserves a start as well. We don't know what his situation is going to be like in the summer, so I'm actually happy with that in a way. So, I mean, it's no disrespect to Tom Heaton, but I would have also given Jack Butland the start. To be fair,
He's
we brought him in on low.
injured.
Is he injured? Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, that does make sense. But if he was available, I would have given him a go.
I think, why did you bring someone in who's injured?
Yeah, that's another good point. But that's just a reflection of it.
I didn't want another goalkeeper, to be honest.
I wanted a defender.
In my personal opinion, I genuinely think that Tom Heaton was good enough to be number 2. Even though he only played against Charlton, he done the job and he was very good at his job.
Yeah, he did. I completely agree, and I really do like the dynamic of the squad that we have, and we definitely have something going there. I was also I know we weren't on a stream at the start of the season, but we did have similar predictions. Obviously, your streams, mine's in the World of Football podcast, but you were in our live chat at the time, and I completely agreed with you. I said 5th, and I wanted the Europa League more than anything because it didn't really matter if we didn't finish at the. I said for Ten Hag this year, league position didn't really matter for me. It was winning trophies. Start strong by winning something, and then take it to the league. And so far, the fact that we're still, even though the title race is effectively between Manchester City and Arsenal, there's still 4 competitions for us because we can still finish the best of the rest out the remaining 18 teams in the league. So I would take that, and I just like the fact that Ten Hag is consistent with selection. The fact that he's got Martial, Rashford, for example, on the bench. And obviously, the returning Sancho, he's chosen not to start him, but he's still playing some of the first team regulars. He's keeping us strong, and I like the fact that he's still including certain players like Garnacho, who is becoming a focal point. Like, I absolutely adore Garnacho, so I'm really glad that he's starting tonight. But I really am glad with the lineup, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I think for me, if I was going to put anyone there, I might have wanted to try Palestra, just because all the times Palestra has come off the bench, I think he's been fantastic. And I think in this kind of game where you've already 3-0 up, rest Anthony, because we got Crystal Palace at the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think another thing as well is I think what I also think as well is I think Anthony is better at driving into space. I think Palestri is a better deliverer of the ball. So like Anthony was doing that at Ajax, but he's not doing it at the Premier League. But in terms of recent games when Palestri's come off the bench, he has actually delivered some good crosses into the box. So necessarily, I would have started in Palestri. And to be fair as well, it might be popular, it might be unpopular, but I would have rested Fernandes and I would have played Sancho in the number 10 role personally. I know a lot of people don't like seeing Sancho in the number 10 role, and I don't blame them. But he played, and I know yourself as one of them, because we've spoken about this before, but it's a good position for him to come back into the fold, just to work his way up around Palestra and Garnacho, who are runners, and he can pass the ball into Weghorst. But that's just me personally. But I'm hoping he comes off the bench tonight.
Yeah, I think right now he's probably better off coming off the bench just because he's been out for such a long time.
Yeah,
He's had
I
a lot of
agree.
criticism, and I think maybe he might come on for Fernandez or Anthony or Garnacho, who knows? But I think he will get some minutes wherever he's going to play, that's for sure, and he needs the minutes. But going off topic a little bit, we've made a new signing. You will know a lot about him from Leipzig. What are you making of the signing? Well, he is an ex-Leipzig player.
He is. He's also one of the main players for his national team, Austria. So I'm actually very happy that we signed Marcel Sabitzer. It's a good move for us. He's in the top 80 percentile in terms of defending. He's a very good presser of the ball. He's a good passer, a good strike as well. I reckon if you're into comps and stuff, I'm not a fan of comps. I prefer watching the games. But if you do want to watch classic Sabitzer moments, I recommend watching his volley in the Champions League versus Zenit. It's a beautiful curling effort from outside the box where he literally just bounce, spin, and it curves in.
Was it from a free kick?
No, it's a dead ball. Dead ball, bounce volley.
What was the free kick one?
The free kick one, it wasn't. It might be in the same game, but the volley literally is bounce and then it curves in. It's like off the edge of it's like the corner of the edge of the box. But the one thing I really do like is the fact that he's a very energetic person. He's also got very good stamina. So when you look at Christian Eriksen, who good player, unfortunately is injured, he didn't have the best of tanks. You can see that he was getting a bit leggy lately because obviously he's older. But
I don't think what happened to him in the Euros plays a factor in that either.
Me neither. I don't. I think he's been conducting himself really well. I just think he's played so many games in a row. He's not been rotated well enough, and that's because Ten Hag likes to play strong. I think the amount of minutes Eriksen has played for us it's been great, but for him it's caught up to him. And the fact that Sabitzer's 28, but he does have a good tank. Playing beside Casemiro as well, he'll enjoy that. And I think another good thing as well, and I'm hoping that he takes light of this, is it allows Bruno Fernandes to stay further forward rather than having to track back. We all know Fernandes has probably got the best tank.
Is he better as an 8 or a 10? Or can he play both?
He can play both. He can also play as a deeper player and he can also play as a second striker. But he has been playing vast majority of his games as a number 8. So we do have a player who is pretty much the same as Eriksen, who can play the two roles, but at least he's got the energy in him to at least go up and down. He's basically what we've been craving for. If you're a fan of N'Golo Kante, like he isn't Kante per se, but he's got that engine in him where he will get up and down, and we won't have to worry about him losing steam because he is capable of that. And that's because of obviously where he's come from.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I know that Ashley mentioned about teams who's tough now coming ahead, and he said Newcastle are probably going to be our hardest team now for the rest of the season. Would you agree with that?
In terms of remaining fixtures, yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, we still have to play them in the league the second time in the league. Obviously, we still have to play them. Well, depending on unless something shambolic happens tonight, we've got them in the cup final, which will be quite telling as well because we've seen it quite a lot this year. Like, yes, Newcastle have got a fantastic clean sheet record. They've been winning games. They've been decisive, but they are the biggest time wasters in the league. That's something that we have to be careful about. They are very strong defensively, so breaking them down, we're going to have to be careful. So they are up for that. I also think because our game got postponed because obviously the passing of the Queen, obviously, in 2022. We don't know what Leeds United is going to be like against us either. They've always been a bit of a nightmare, even though we always seem to beat them. They always give us a game, so I'm skeptical really about how we're going to approach Leeds and our under Ten Hag. I'm looking forward to those games, but yeah, I would have to say I would have to agree with Ashley. I would probably say Newcastle, but any other team in the league could slip us up, and we've still got Harry Potter's Chelsea to play in all their £500 million worth of new signings. Like, who knows what that's going to be like? So, yeah, I mean,
time will tell. But it's at Old Trafford. They haven't got a good record at Old Trafford, which is 100%. One positive to think of. We'll get the next guest on. Thank you, Reese, for coming on.
Oh, it's my
Would
pleasure.
you like to give your score prediction and also shout out your socials?
I'm going to go 2-0 United. Not as overly scoring as the last game. I think Forest will probably have a different approach this time. So, yeah, I'll go 2-0. And you can find me here, Devil's Rising on Twitter and YouTube. And you can find me on the Weekly Armchair Sports Talk as well on a Saturday for my wrestling podcast, The Weekly Steel Chair. Thanks for having me on, Maisy. It's good to see you.
Good to see you also, Reese, and enjoy the game. See you soon.
And you. See you later. Bye.
So we've had Reese on, and now we have got another great fan on. He isn't a Manchester United fan, but he's a very good friend of mine. Luca, how you doing?
Man, it's been a while. How you been, man?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing yourself?
Yeah, I'm good.
So, have you seen the lineup for Manchester United tonight?
No, I just checked right now. The lineups: Heaton, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Fernandes, Casemiro, Fred, Weghorst, Garnacho, Anthony. For me, I quite find it quite strange that Tom Heaton is starting, because that's probably going to be like his first proper start, because he was at Manchester United.
He had one start, and that was against Charlton. So this is the first one against a Premier League club for Manchester United.
Jesus. Well, United puts him in a weak side up, but what I like about Ten Hag is that why is he starting Varane and Martinez? The game is already done. There's no way Forest are not going to come back and win 3-0.
Have you seen our backups of Harry Maguire?
Yeah, you got Harry Maguire. There's no way Maguire's not going to let 3 goals go in.
Do you know he let in 4 against Brentford?
He did, but Brentford are better than Nottingham Forest, my friend. So
I don't trust him. I don't trust Harry Maguire as far as I can throw him, I must be honest. But looking at it from because we are like semi-bit like rivals, how do you see it from a rival's point of view of how Manchester United have been this season?
I think United have been really one of the teams that's really surprised me this season. Like last season when you've got rid of Ralph Rangnick, right? Which people expected that he was. I think Manchester United fans got a little bit overconfident over Rangnick a little bit. But I think this season Ten Hag has really showed where Manchester United have been for the past since Sir Alex Ferguson, and Manchester United showed. Yeah, you lost to Arsenal. You lost to a few
and
teams.
We've won the gauges as well. It's a win and a loss.
So it's 3-3. So technically, but you seem to bounce back. And it doesn't matter. People say, "Oh yeah, they beat Nottingham Forest and all that." It doesn't matter, right? It matters about getting 3 points. And United this season, there's something exciting for Manchester United. And the Glazers, whatever happens if they leave at the end of the season or not, and if an owner comes in, it could be exciting times. And you've got Casemiro. Like when we lost to Arsenal, Casemiro was a huge difference. And I think Manchester United, for me, have done very well. There's a philosophy, there's players in there, and I think you lot are going very good. I think you do need to get rid of the likes. I do think De Gea maybe needs to go, in my opinion.
What perfect backup then for a goalkeeper would you pick for Man United?
If I was a United fan, I'd be sitting here right now. I'll be going for the Brighton goalkeeper. This keeper has been absolutely fantastic. Like, there's no way Manchester United are not going to go and get Oblak, right?
I'm not a massive fan of Oblak. I think he's similar to De Gea in his. I think he's much better at his shot stopping than his distribution. And I actually think right now De Gea is probably better at his distribution than Oblak is. If I was going to pick one, I'd pick David Raya from Brentford.
He's a good shout.
And he's a lot cheaper than Sanchez.
For me, Sanchez is, look, I understand where you're coming from, but is Raya good enough to be the number 1 for Manchester United? Is he good enough? Look, he'll be delighted to go Man United because he's playing with a very good manager that's played in a piss league, Dutch league, but he is a very good manager, Ten Hag. And for me, he will be very excited with the project, whether the Glazers sell up at the end of the season or not. I just feel Sanchez is pretty much. Look, I understand where you're coming from, Maisy, about David Raya is the more cheap option, But don't you just feel like it's like what I said on my channel this week? I said we missed out on Moise Caicedo. And
I think, though, the thing is with David Raya and Sanchez, they're very similar. The only thing what's different about Sanchez is he's 2 years younger. And when it's a goalkeeper
2 years
can
is
play
not
for the
different.
quarter.
2 years is nothing. If you're talking about 4 or 5 years, then that's a different conversation to say.
Yeah, and I think apart from that, they're very, very similar of how they play. They're great with the shot stopping, they're great with the feet, they're great with possession. So there isn't that much between them, minus a 2-year age gap.
Look, I understand where you're coming from, Maisy, and look, I just feel with David Raya this season, Brentford have had a decent season, not compared to Brighton, but I think he's a very good goalkeeper. But if Manchester United want to start winning trophies, you've got to have a keeper like what Liverpool had, like Alisson. Sanchez has got potential to be like that. I'm not saying Sanchez is better than Alisson. I still think Alisson's a better goalkeeper, right? People might say, yeah, Alisson's shit and all that, but I still think he's a top goalkeeper.
I agree. I think he is as well.
Yeah, I do. Because the thing is, right, Alisson, for me, when Liverpool were crying out for a goalkeeper and Virgil van Dijk, they used all that money for Felipe Coutinho when Liverpool were good at their prime. And then they end up winning the league.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Talking about goalkeepers, Reese has mentioned a good one. Nottingham Forest has signed Navas on loan from PSG.
Fantastic signing. He's got winning pedigree experience. He's won Champions League. He's won French La Ligas. And for me, to get a keeper like that, it's a goalkeeper. I think it's permanent. I'm not 100% sure.
It's a loan without a buy, so they've only got him till the end of the season.
At the end of the season, which is very good, smart business for Nottingham Forest, and that's the thing. Like anyone would take a keeper like that. I think he's too good for Nottingham Forest, in my opinion. I really do, but time will tell. And for me, that keeper is going to help. Really going to look. Forest's defense has been woeful this season, but Forest tonight, with Navas watching at Old Trafford, he's going to look at that and think, you know what, I'm getting the number 1 spot. I'm not getting ahead of Wayne Hesley. Okay, Wayne Hesley, Welsh international, had a terrible World Cup, right?
Well, he was the one who's, how can I say, sent Wales home.
Well, yeah, but they're shit. So at the end of the day, right, Kayless Navas, right, he will bring quite a lot of experience and a lot of winning pedigree because he's a keeper where I think, you know what, I'm coming in here with a lot of Champions League experience. He will look at Forest and think, you know what I have to do here? Forest have to come in and end up finishing the highest possible can. I think, despite I give them banter with Nottingham Forest, right, I think Forest will actually stay up this season. Now they've actually.
Where do you feel like they'll finish? But just to me, if they're getting Navas, who I would say is a world-class goalkeeper for everything he has achieved, if they can get someone like him, that kind of mentality in the squad, as well as I think Serge Aurier has been fantastic for them this season. Brennan Johnson has really shown he's a Premier League player. Have even experience of Jesse Lingard. I'm not a fan of Jesse Lingard because of what's happened. I think he's a great player, but I love him as a person. But after that interview, I just can't be a fan anymore. Even that kind of Premier League experience, it works massively for Nottingham Forest. The only thing that lets them down is signing over 25 players. But can you really blame them when they've lost over 20 players from the Championship? And then on top of that, they still need to strengthen by more players anyway.
Well, yeah, they do because for me, this is the type of signings where Forest have to start from scratch. And for me, look, even Reece said in the comment, and I didn't even know, Renan Lodi from Athletic Madrid.
He's on loan.
And also, was it Felipe someone they signed?
Yeah, and they signed Danilo as well as another.
Yeah, who Arsenal were linked with, right? So they've got some decent players. So Forest can show, right? We're not talking about when Nottingham Forest won the European League back in the day, right? It's technically Forest are actually getting these type of players, showing that we need to get a little bit of cash out of it. We need to spend a bit of money. We need to be ruthless and aggression and end up being like, we need to finish mid-table. And Forest are showing that high intensity in that complex, whether they are going to be good enough. And I think they'll finish mid-table around 15th, something like that. And that's a good season for Forest. Everybody expected Forest to get relegated straight away. Yes, they've not won many games, but their home form is actually quite decent. It's away from home. Everyone expects Forest to lose away from home. So Forest did get a win against Southampton. And they got a point against Everton. So Forest can show that they can win some games.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I'm going off topic a tiny bit, but just before I get your score prediction and let you go,
Right.
what you thinking of Jorginho?
Oh no, Jorginho. Nah, for me, right, look. I quickly say it, and I said this on my channel in case you guys want to go and subscribe to my channel. Look, Jorginho for me, right? Look, I put a lot of criticism on Twitter. Amount of tweets I put out about this situation. Look, it's not a bad signing. He'll bring a lot of experience. He's won the Champions League and Club World Cup, and he's won the Euros for his country. But I just feel what I'm worried about is with this signing is the way Mikel Arteta has played his style of play. If Thomas Partey gets an injury, and we are very, very lucky, right, that Thomas Partey is fit enough for the weekend. We are lucky it was only a precaution, because I went all out when on this, and for me, lucky he's fit. But for me, what I'm worried about is about the style of play. Jorginho's qualities is not that great, because
Arteta must like something about him.
But the thing is, what I didn't know about this until I found out yesterday is that Mikel Arteta wanted Jorginho, and I'm thinking, hold on here. I even said on my channel, thinking, is this a Mikel Arteta signing? Was this just a Don Edu or Edu Gasper signing? But what really annoys me is that with Edu is that we missed out on Moise Caicedo. But people think that Edu is actually doing very, very good business. Look, for me, yes, he has bought some players in like Saliba and all that stuff. But for me, look, what I'm worried about is about he has failed in this transfer window. And I rate this transfer window a 4 or 5 out of 10. I think we didn't address the proper midfield, right? Moise Caicedo should have been the number one target. Look, I understand people are saying psychological effect, £80 million is very expensive, 70 mil. We didn't go in for the third bid, right? But I feel, in my opinion, getting back to Jorginho, I'm just more worried. If Partey gets an injury before Man City, I'm not saying he will or won't. When we play Man City 2 weeks tonight, Jorginho, for me, coming up against Man City, doesn't sound nasty. It sounds wrong to me. And for me, something's like I'm more worried about Jorginho. The way Arsenal play, even at the Emirates, or the way they set out away from home this season, Jorginho is not quick. He's not the quickest, but he's not bad for squad set.
Fair enough. Luca, thank you as well for coming on. Would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We did reach to 2.7 on Monday, so keep. We're 94 away from 2.8. So you guys in the chat, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, the channel's right there on the red logo, Luca AFC. But thank you very much for having me on as always, and much pleasure, and good luck for the rest of your stream.
Thank you. What's your score prediction as well?
Manchester United, 3-0 Man United.
Perfect. Thank you, Luca, and have a lovely night.
Thank you. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye. So, just before we do wrap up, I will quickly do the lineup yet again for people who have missed that. So we have got Tom Heaton in goal, Luke Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, Casemiro, Fernandes, Garnacho, Weghorst, Anthony. Very strong lineup from Manchester United. We know the new signing, Sabitzer, is going to be, he hasn't registered on time, but we've still got a very strong lineup, a couple of changes of Garnacho, Fred, which was to be expected, and of course Tom Heaton. I think Tom Heaton has been fantastic against Charlton in the Carabao Cup, so he definitely deserved the place. Looking at it, Rashford, top goal scorer as expected with 5, Jesse Lingard on 2, best mates there who are rivaling it up together. And we've got the bench options of Anthony Martial back from injury, Jadon Sancho, which everyone's looking forward to seeing, Marcus Rashford, another game changer, Palestra, Mano, Harry Maguire, Malacia, Lindelof, and De Gea. And we know there's some injuries there. Scott McTominay out with a knock, Donny out with a knee injury, Dalot is out for the season. Dalot has got a hamstring injury, could be back very soon, and Christian Eriksen is out till April coming ahead. So everybody is also aware. Marcel Sabitzer, as I've already mentioned in the show today, he has signed for Manchester United. Sabitzer is the first Austrian player to join Manchester United, have built up a wealth of experience from the Manchester United website in his 13 years of senior football, making over 400 appearances for both club and country. At the age of 28, that's absolutely fantastic. Played for his country 68 times, scoring 12 goals. Great for a box-to-box midfielder. We needed the squad depth, knowing Christian Eriksen is injured now till April. But I'm over the moon with the signing itself. And then we can see here at the bottom with his stats, Wacker is at 52 games, 10 goals, 8 assists. Salzburg at 51 games, 27 goals, 21 assists. Leipzig, 229 games, 52 goals, 42 assists. Bayern Munich, 54 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. So really, he did need that loan. He needed to get some game time. So enjoy the game, everyone. I'm gonna go for a 2-0 for Manchester United. What matters is the clean sheet, getting to the final, 5-0 on Ags. I can't complain about it. Rabi's gone for 3-0 for United, 3-1 for United. Wonder who's scoring there for Nottingham Forest, who knows? But thank you everyone who's watched. If you did like the calling show and you do want some more, just give a message. I'll see what I can do. Take care everyone. Enjoy the game. Come on, United. Carabao final. It's in our hands. Let's do this. Bye-bye.